Hello everyone, welcome to A Clear Perspective. I'm Serene. The American mainstream media is facing more and more trouble these days. They are likely to write big checks to pay for their irresponsible reporting. This time, they are facing a lawsuit from relatives of former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who are accusing CNN of calling them followers of the QAnon conspiracy theory. The Western Journal reported on Saturday that on Thursday, a federal judge allowed Flynn's brother, John Jack Flynn, and his wife, Leslie Flynn, to sue CNN. According to U.S. District Judge Gregory Wu's ruling, CNN aired a report this year entitled CNN Goes Inside a Gathering of QAnon Followers. Wu is an Obama-appointed judge. He wrote in his ruling that the report included a brief clip of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn proclaiming, "Where we go one, we go all." Plaintiffs John, Jack, and Leslie Flynn are shown in the clip standing next to General Flynn. In late March, the Flynns filed the case with a request for a jury trial in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The suit states, CNN's false attributions exposed plaintiffs to public scorn, ridicule, and contempt, and lowered their esteem in the community, causing insult, embarrassment, humiliation, and substantial injury to plaintiffs' reputation. The suit also states that after the January 6th storming of the Capitol, a chorus of left-wing media outlets began to spread false narratives about QAnon, including that Jack Flynn's brother, retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, was the founder of QAnon. Plaintiffs are not followers or supporters of any extremist or terrorist groups, including QAnon. The suit states, they are claiming that the false report defamed them and put them in a false light, and are seeking $75 million in damages from CNN. CNN tried to get the lawsuit dismissed, pointing out that Jack's tweets were consistent with the beliefs of QAnon followers. The Flynns countered that Jack's tweets show that he embraced the Constitution and equal justice under the law, not the dangerous extremist, racist, and violent beliefs espoused by QAnon. Wu dismissed CNN's claims and allowed the Flynns to proceed against CNN. On December 18, the Western Journal posted a survey on its site titled, "Do you think the Flynns will prevail against CNN?" Of the around 2,000 readers that answered, 98% of people chose yes, and only 2% chose no. This case may remind you of the MAGA boy U.S Sandmann's case against CNN. In January 2019, Sandmann, then a high school student, stood smiling in front of an elderly Native American man wearing a Make America Great Again hat. But Sandmann was portrayed as racist against Native Americans in a CNN story that was later picked up by other media outlets. In March of that year, Sandmann filed a lawsuit against CNN, The Washington Post, NBC, and other media outlets, seeking a total of $800 million as indemnity. In January 2020, Sandmann and the CNN reached an out-of-court settlement. Although it was not made public, it was estimated to be a huge sum of money. According to U.S. law, news agencies, news organizations are often protected by Section 230 when reporting on public figures. The Gateway Pundit commentary argues that if Mr. and Mrs. Flynn can prove themselves to be non-public figures, their attorneys can win in court by proving misrepresentation by media outlets such as CNN and indicating that the media must remain liable for false reporting. Mr. and Mrs. Flynn could be another one to teach CNN a lesson. On Saturday, December 18th, the Daily Mail reported a new development in the Sandmann vs. NBC case. The two sides have reached a private $275 million settlement for the lawsuit. In fact, on Friday afternoon, Sandmann tweeted, "At this time, I would like to announce that NBC and I have reached a settlement, the terms of which are confidential." This is the third case that Sandmann has settled out of court after CNN and the Washington Post. Court records show that Sandmann also filed a lawsuit against the New York Times, CBS, ABC, and Gannett. According to Fox News, Sandmann's attorney said the Associated Press and the HBO could face similar lawsuits. And after Wisconsin teenager Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted last month, Sandmann spoke with him by phone. He may be preparing a number of lawsuits against various disinformation media outlets. Now let's talk about Russia again. Over the past week, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has frequently made requests to the United States, and it may not have received a timely response. On Friday, December 17th, a draft proposal that they had submitted to the United States was published on their official website. On the same day, a senior official of the Biden administration told media outlet Axios that the U.S. is prepared to discuss Russia's proposals with its allies, but said that there are some things in those documents that the Russians know will be unacceptable. On Monday, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister said that Moscow had so far received no response from the United States. Russia said on Monday it urgently needed a response from the United States on its sweeping security demands, and again warned of a possible Russian military response unless it saw political action to assuage its concerns. Later, in a telephone conversation with Germany's new foreign minister, Russia insisted that they needed to be given a formal legal commitment not to extend NATO to Eastern Europe. Putin then spoke with the president of Finland and the president of France, respectively, to convey the same message. Putin believes that since 1999, NATO has been extending olive branches to former Soviet Union countries in Eastern Europe, which violates the commitments made by both sides after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Putin's bottom line should be the issue of not allowing Ukraine to join NATO. In July this year, Putin published a long article explaining the historical relationship between Russia and Ukraine, saying that he was very sad that Great Russia was ruined by the Soviet Communist Party. He said that he is a rational Russian conservative and he wanted to go back to the Russian Orthodox culture before the October Revolution. He expressed respect for the choice of the Ukrainian people, but he also did not allow NATO to use Ukraine as a bridgehead against Russia. One of the key points is that Putin believes Ukraine is becoming like the left of the United States today. Not long ago, in a speech, Putin attacked Western liberalism in a fiery address for destroying Western civilization. He said that the world is in a civilizational crisis and that the Western left is often on the verge of committing crimes against humanity. He suggested that transgender rights supporters were demanding an end to basic things such as mother, father, family, or gender differences, and allowing children to choose their own gender and undergo gender reassignment surgery. Putin stressed that his country should adhere to its own spiritual values and historical traditions. From the time Putin marched across the Ukrainian borders, forcing Biden to ask for a video meeting, to the vague response from Biden's senior officials on Friday, through this whole process, Putin has taken the initiative. This means that Putin has raised Russia's status to be on par with the United States. The Axios report also said that when Putin deployed more and more troops to the Ukrainian border, the Ukrainian government urgently lobbied the United States for more military aid and preemptive sanctions to stop the Russian invasion. But the Biden administration dodged this. An advisor to Ukrainian president told Axios that the U.S. has yet to meet a request for defensive military aid submitted in early November, probably fearing that it would anger Russia. As for the outcome of the U.S. Russia talks, it is likely that Putin will get his way. Well, that's all for today. Please subscribe, like, and share. See you next time. Thank you.